We know we ask a lot from our patron and support network, and we are always so grateful for your generosity. In these challenging times, it's even harder to raise the funding we need to serve our community and achieve our goals. So we're always looking for new ways to maintain our revenue without adding additional burdens to our supporters. Today, we're excited to share a great opportunity that can really help our community and requires no additional out-of-pocket from you. We've partnered with the Liberty Company Insurance Brokers and their Liberty Cares program. Liberty Cares is simple. You already make monthly payments for your insurance needs, whether it's auto, home, or for your business. For every line of insurance you move to Liberty, they will donate 25% of the commissions they receive on your policies back to our cause. And under this special partnership arrangement, that donation will come to us again and again every year you keep your policy with Liberty. Often, you'll be able to move your insurance into this program simply by signing one form. It's that easy. The Liberty Company is one of the nation's largest insurance brokers, and they've won a number of recognitions for their excellent operations and workplace culture. So you can rest assured that you will be well taken care of. If you would like to learn more about how this new partnership with Liberty can help turn your insurance dollars into much needed funds for our community, please visit libertycompany.com/libertycares or shoot them an email at libertycares@libertycompany.com. And please be sure to let them know that you're part of our community so that they will credit the benefit of your policies back to our organization. Your ongoing support is much appreciated. So thank you in advance.
Hey everyone, welcome to the Wellness Check-In. It's Tuesday and I'm Chrisa, Mental Health Director here at the Ed Asner Family Center, and I'm sitting with this beautiful woman here.
I'm Kamina Starr, filling in today for Navah.
So hello, and we're hoping to see Navah again next week.
For sure. We hope she feels better and is getting all the self-care that she needs.
All the self-care.
I know she's watching.
Which is a perfect segue into our main theme for today, because we just can't get enough of self-care. And I know I definitely need some this week. And unfortunately, after the news of one of my high school idols, well, the whole band was one of my idols, the untimely passing of Eddie Van Halen. So I learned that about an hour ago. And so that kind of threw me off a little bit, and I'm needing some grounding and some self-care.
We all do. I mean, things like that happen all the time. We're experiencing more of these things today. And so
more disappointment,
more anger. Right. Yep. And so what we thought would be a great thing to do is to start out today's show talking about self-care for the caregiver. Mm-hmm. Self-care for the caregiver is what I like to call a priority, not a luxury. We're going to start out with just right that. Why don't we hit them hardcore with that?
It's for sure a priority. And then the one thing that's really difficult is when a person doesn't think of it as being a priority.
True.
And they just go days or hours or weeks without really tuning into what they need, or tuning into the idea of creating space and time for their own well-being.
True.
And so they just keep going. I can't stop. I have too much on my plate. There's too much going on.
It won't get done. Come on, and give it to them a little bit more. It won't get done if I don't do it. Mm-hmm. Who's going to do it right? It has to be me. Just overdoing it with yourself. And I think that's a great tip that you already said too. So what I hear you saying, schedule some time for yourself. Yeah. That was actually one of my tips for today. Yeah. Plus to schedule some time for yourself for self-care. Now we're getting news every day. Mm-hmm. We're getting news about elections. We're getting news about our children. We're getting news about those whom we love and care for. If you're a caregiver without a child and you're a therapist, you're still getting news every day. So scheduling that time, and even 5 minutes for the first 5 minutes that you wake up, could be a very valuable time for your self-care.
A lot of people do say that they like to wake up and get into meditation or get their hot beverage and just I wake up and I'm like ready to go. I need to check the emails and do all this stuff. So for me, I know my best time is in the evening, when I'm winding down. I don't feel like I have a lot on my plate, and then I can really kind of focus and give that space.
You are really diligent. She is really good. For me, I have to start the time about 5 minutes before I even get out the bed, because my anxiety kicks in the first thing when I wake up. What do I have to do? Who's going to call? What meetings do I need to attend? What's my daughter doing? And all the rest of that. And I see some of the people on our page just lighting up. People are going for it. If you have some comments, go ahead and let us know what you do for your morning routine, if you relax during the morning or the evening. But first 5 minutes, I just kind of hit a meditation real quick and let everybody know, you know, that
some people say that starts the day off right. It really sets the tone for you.
I got to have it.
And that's how some people also treat exercise. They've got to get it done in the morning. They want to start off feeling that rush of adrenaline or serotonin or whatever it is.
Yes.
And again, I don't know why. For me, sometimes it's like the end of the day where I can really relax. But everyone has their own time.
And you can do both. And you can definitely do both. You can in the morning and you can wind down. We have another tip here that we'd like to share. And I think that that's very important in the step to get you started, which is, how about giving yourself permission to serve yourself? We've just said about 10 things that could all make us upset first thing in the morning or before we're going to sleep angry. But giving yourself that permission to take that 5 minutes, whether it be in the morning or in your nighttime routine, I think is very, very valuable for our caregivers. What do you think?
Yeah, absolutely. But, you know, the other part too is what happens if something jumps in your way.
Yes.
Let's say, you know, you have a couple kids or you have a child that really needs you. And so you want to try, and then all of a sudden you hear a knock at the door, someone comes busting in, or the phone starts ringing, you know, maybe the alarm didn't go off. You know, that's the hard part too. And that's going to throw you out of your comfort zone. That's
very much so.
So you got to really try to reset something.
And I think that that's a good way to also reinforce the habits that you've already made for the morning and the afternoon routine by taking a little break, even in the middle of all of that, to kind of refocus yourself. One thing that we did before, you said you were kind of nervous underneath the table and everything. One tip for that I feel like could really work, right? If you're fidgety, you're feeling
constantly
throughout the day, is to we'll just do it live. This is on the fly. So how about some tips? How about a real tip? You want to push your head down with the palms of your hands flat on top of your head. And I got the bun today, so not too much, but just pat your head down and continue to really press with loving, firm touch. Loving, firm touch here. We're going live on Instagram too. Loving, firm touch. That grounds you to try to make you feel better. So if you feel like you can't deal with something throughout the day that you really need to, stop and ground yourself, and then you'll be able to take another look at it.
You know, our producer, Matt, we talked about this on another show where it's called, I forgot the name of it, where you actually are giving yourself squeezes and sensory.
Yes.
input.
My daughter used to call them orange squeezes. I think they were called lemon squeezes, but I think she made up her own name. Autism is like that sometimes. They got their own language. But that is a sensory, a deep touch for vestibular, I think, input.
Yes. And I intend to squeeze my arms often.
When you're cold?
Well, no, just for sensory input. It helps to comfort me.
Yeah.
But also there, you know, I did study EMDR, which is a type of reprogramming processing for your body. And it's, I did do this for a little bit in my practice. But what it is it's providing like some kind of tapping, and it's sort of binaural tapping where it helps to get unstuck those memories that might be maladaptive and that are dark thoughts and things like that.
We do that in energy
healing.
It's a big deal in energy healing, and we're going to talk more about that with self-care for caregivers when we get down into more energy healing. But you think that'll work for our caregivers as well, right?
Well, it's something you can do in the immediate, just giving yourself some squeezes. I love squeezing a pillow if I'm stuck at my desk, and I just grab onto it, and it just kind of gives you some sensory input. That's a little bit of self-care as well.
At all times. But now listen, these are the things that we do with our children. So most caregivers might not think, they're doing therapy with the child. They don't think to use these tips and strategies for themselves. And I think it's very valuable. I even sometimes sleep with a weighted blanket.
There you go. Yeah.
For anxiety. And
we have one here at the center, and we have those really comfy, love sacks, I guess they're called. The big beanbag.
Is it a beanbag? Okay, love sacks.
Yeah.
That sounded like something else.
No, that's.
I like it.
Hey, we're G-rated here.
We're G-rated. But we got these kids some kind of way. So
Matt, let me ask my producer, Matt. I just heard what you just said too. That is so funny. Are they called love sacks? The big beanbag chairs? Yeah.
Love sacks.
That's right.
Love sacks. I wish someone would give me a love sack that's in like pink and foofy with I would love that. Now, my daughter's probably had a beanbag chair forever, where she does her art and everything, but if I could just get an adult one, you think we could chill out too? What do you think?
We're allowed to have beanbag chairs. We need them.
I need a beanbag chair.
For sure. So again, that's another sensory input thing. Kamina's talking about weighted blankets. Beanbag chairs, it sort of like encompasses you. You know those things you put your hand in where it's like those metal prickly things and you can do impressions.
I know what you mean. She's talking about like an art piece.
Yeah, it's like metal, and you can make a handprint. Some people put it on their face, and certainly not in COVID times. But it's calming and it's soothing, and it's a little bit of pressure that people do enjoy. You can do also pressure points. For your face as well, just like you were just saying. And this is all,
pressure points. And this is all what we're recapping and what we're talking about here is a different strategy to administer self-care for yourself as a caregiver. So we're not talking about the children.
Right.
We're not talking about those you serve. We're making it okay to serve yourself today and to use these strategies on yourself for self-care.
Yes.
So in addition to making time for yourself, she's saying we're doing sensory stimulus input, calming sensory strategy.
And these are things for us, right? And these are just little sort of items to grab onto. You're in the car, you're at work, perhaps, or now everyone's working from home, or you're sitting and just enjoying a show and you're giving yourself some sensory input. But then there's other things as well. If you can find some time to have a quiet mind, then there's other avenues to maybe counteract some of the anxiety, some of the frustration and anger.
True.
So these are like different, maybe we'll get into some other thoughts. And we were talking about anger earlier.
Yes, and we should get into those thoughts in this show later on. Now, I'm filling in for Navah today. Once again, I'm Kamina Starr, and I can be reached on Kamina Starr on all the platforms, Instagram and everything. We're actually going live right now on Instagram. We're going to wave at everybody on Instagram to say that we want to do this a little bit more. And let's wave at Navah here on Instagram.
Can we?
So that she can see us. She's going to see us. We're going to wave at her. We miss you. We love you. We're talking about you today, self-care for the caregiver.
Yes.
And giving a few tips and strategies that can help us take care of ourselves. We're giving permission to ourselves to serve ourselves and be able to take some time off knowing that the world will not fall apart if you don't do it.
And one of the things
people can help you
for sure. And one of the things Kamina just touched on was serving yourself. But I thought you had just said something about anger. And one of the things I think that really provokes people and gets people in a place of anger and frustration, consciously or subconsciously, they're not quite sure, is when they're not holding a boundary. So if you have set aside time for yourself and you get bumped out of that and you're, an hour goes by and you're not getting to do your activities or your things are getting in the way. And so that when you're not holding the boundary and all of a sudden you're saying yes to everything when you really want to be saying no, that really breeds resentment. And so sometimes unconsciously, we're holding resentment and it's just eating away at us. And
it causes health problems. It causes dis-ease when your body is no longer at ease. And so when you have a bunch of anger and resentment, it also, where it'll hit you, where you'll know is it'll be your midsection. There'll be anger, resentment. You'll be swallowing that. Sometimes you'll feel it in your throat where you'll get a lot of indigestion or those type of things where you might feel kidney pain or you might feel some things that's in your lower abdomen and everything. So things can show up in different ways, even in energy healing on the holistic side, that are affected directly by your emotions, directly by feeling that anger during the daytime and the nighttime and sleeping on it and not letting it go. So I really like that you said, hold your boundaries. Let's just repeat the tip for the day.
Hold the boundaries. I mean, I work with a lot of clients, and in fact, this one client yesterday was just so frustrated. It was almost 7:00 at night. She had said yes, that she'd go out to dinner to meet a girlfriend. She was burned out. She had a horrible day, and she just kept feeling like she really couldn't make it. And I was like, would it be okay if you were able to say no? And she goes, I can't, and then the hard part is she was holding resentment and it was just bringing her down. She was losing the boundary and the promise that she made to herself to slow down. So she wasn't being true to herself. And then now she's in resentment and she's in anger and a bit of frustration and she's tense and she's exhausted. So,
and holding it all in. And so there's also in autism, just so you know, in autism, my daughter does this all the time. She's 18 and I'm an autism mom. So I have to speak to this, that she is camouflaging. She's not keeping the boundaries to herself, but she's completely camouflaging that she's ready. She wants to do this and everything. When really, in all actuality, she doesn't need to be doing anything. She needs to be serving herself or resting. And so I think, and during that part, it's really important for us to understand that even if you've made a commitment, but you start to feel bad, and it's more than social anxiety, and you know that things aren't right, it's okay. People will understand far greater when you say, hey, I thought I could make it.
Right.
I can't.
I'm not feeling
well.
To it. Yeah. And even like some people plan their week out where they have something every day.
I do it all the time.
Right.
That's me.
And then they're burned out already because they're thinking about it.
Right.
So just notice how you're scheduling yourself as well. That could really be something that's just going to throw you out of whack, not being able.
Remember when I talked about it on the first show when I visited the not to do list?
Oh yeah.
So here's what you're not to do.
Not to do list.
Let's not do. When you woke up on Monday, or no, let's say Sunday, whenever you started your week, you felt like sketchy. You're like, oh, this is, I got a lot to do. There's lots of appointments and there's lots of things that need to happen in my world. It is okay to backtrack. It is okay to take that and see yourself as a cumulative. It's like, okay, I might not be good this week, but my friends will still love me next week.
You know what? If they love you, they will.
They will. They'll always support you. They'll always understand. True.
But also, how are you scheduling everything? That's really important too. Am I overbooking? Am I double booking? You're already double booked being a mom with a kid on the spectrum. You're already.
And you're already booked. You're already booked for 2 lives.
There you go.
The child's life, your life.
Yeah.
You and anything else that you have going on. I'm hosting a show with her right now.
Thank you. We're very grateful.
So as we're doing all of these things, we have to just remember that it's okay to take care of ourselves. And it's really a priority, because what happens when I don't? I'm waking up angry, anxious. I can't come in. I don't know what to talk about. I can't work with you. I can't work with other clients. I can't talk to families. Right. Yeah. And I, what happens to me is I get sick.
Yeah.
Physically sick.
Right.
And so the physical sickness takes me down for way longer than the anxiety I thought was going to tear me down.
Right. Because I was just, as you were saying, you physically get sick. I was just noticing myself. I just get more anxious if I'm overwhelmed and I have too many things. I tend to push on through if I'm not feeling so great. I just keep going, and then I'll either eat a lot of carbs, or I'll get a cupcake or something.
Right, sugar.
Yeah, that's probably what happens.
Well, you touch on a good point there, because we're talking about how not having self-care is really affecting you in day-to-day life. So she just said carbs. You eat more sugar. What else might you do when it's anxiety? Caffeine.
Those are the 3.
Caffeine,
that just keep going. So, what else do you have on your list?
Oh my gosh, I have so many things to tell you guys about self-care. I think we hit our 3 points for today, but that you already said, but we'll go ahead and reschedule them, restate them. The number one thing that we've seen is that self-care is not a luxury. It is a priority in your life. And we're explaining how all of those things can be affected. Number 2, we were saying, give yourself permission to heal yourself and to serve yourself. And you are also adding to that by saying, create great boundaries for yourself and don't overschedule yourself, which is number 3. Schedule time for you.
Yep.
Schedule time. Now she does it in the PM. You do a PM routine.
Evening, yeah.
I do more of an AM routine. And between that, if you have something that disrupts your flow during the day, we can ground ourselves using our tips, and then we can go ahead. I don't want to overload people too much with everything that's going on, and give them 3 good tips that they can understand. But and make sure that you all tune in every Tuesday so that we can get more tips and strategies. But let us know what else you would like to talk about. We have some very exciting things coming up with a few sponsors, and we would like to introduce you to a 12-step course that we're going to be doing that we want to talk a little bit more about in the coming weeks. But that's all going to be about self-care. So for our audience and for everyone watching,
some great stuff coming up. And, I think we're 7 or 8 months into this pandemic, and I'm just so proud of everybody at the center and the team of people here, because we have, everyone whipped into action and got most of our programming online. So we were having online content available for everybody, and we started the show, and I'm so excited that we started the show. And then the center is able to, we did Camp Ed for a short amount of time, and then we have some classes that are available, and you can see on our website what is available. And our mental health department is really just exploding right now. We are so grateful for all of those.
That's a really good thing. That is a cool thing to say, right? In this day and age, and so, we're all working on everyone being okay.
Everyone completely rocked it, and so we're just so excited because we do have a lot of things that are brewing. So for sure, stay tuned for that. But and
now we can help you all take care of you too, with all of the things that we're doing with self-care for caregivers. And coming back to this show lets us know that you're okay. We want to hear from you, though. We would like to see where you feel like you need where do you need help? Where do you need self-care the most? Do you have anxiety? Are you angry?
I just have to point out that my mother just wrote in.
Hi.
And she often is one of my biggest fans here. So
I'm hoping my mom will jump on too. See, the moms need self-care too. They were the original caregivers. Her mom is the original caregiver of her. So mom,
but you know what would be interesting? Too. I would love to know what my mom does for self-care.
Mom, could you share?
Write in and just describe what she does for self-care. So that would be really nice, because
I think that's a great dynamic.
Now that she's not, she doesn't have younger children in the home, so she's older and has more time to explore what works out. So
works in phases and shifts. I think she would be considered like an empty nester, but for like longer time. Correct. And I'm almost getting to that since my daughter just turned 18. I must admit, my self-care routine is just so different. Most people think, you know what it's not though? It's not just the bubble bath.
Correct.
Let's put
the
that
old
in there.
days. That used to be the commercial was, well, wine in the bubble bath is still pretty nice. It's still
pretty nice, but I feel like we don't feel like we have the time to get to it. You know what I'm saying? Right. So I want to make sure that we know that it's more than just the bubble bath. I mean, the bubble baths are my number one.
But also
Calgon technique.
Calgon, that was it. Now, have you had the Calgon bubble bath ever?
The Calgon bubble bath.
That's my go-to.
If that's his go-to, then that's the one for me, because he probably doesn't do anything. So anyway,
Calgon, that's the best. I think they still make that stuff.
I think it's okay for men to take bubble baths, and I think it's okay for everybody to take bubble baths. And I think it's okay for us to start there. But in real terms, we just think that that's the only thing. But what we've explained to you today as deep pressure and just taking a moment for yourself to just sit down and just literally
or the breathing
exercises that, and I've heard you did that on that show, and the things that we did at Camp Ed, we meditated by the ocean. We did little things that we can explain in this show are really going to help.
Yeah, people. That was just so, again, Camino this is their second time on the show, but previously I talked about this beautiful moment where we were all holding hands with some of the participants at Camp Ed, and we were just in the ocean and just visualizing letting go of things. And you were also doing some energy healing.
We're going to get into all of that. I can't wait to talk about that with everyone here, because it's going to be new information for our
we actually have some more time if you wanted to talk a little bit about what energy healing is and what that kind of self-care could be for some of our audience.
Listen, this is great. I timed it perfectly, didn't I? To let you know. Once again, my name is Kamina Starr. I'm filling in for Navah. And I can be reached at Kamina Starr on all platforms. Instagram is my go-to. I am an energy healer, an author, and an autism mom. And the way I've healed all of this time from my daughter just turning 18, we've had a terrible, crazy story that you can see in other shows, but we'll keep it light and let you know the energy healing has really saved my life. What that means is I'm using a touch modality, much like we told you to touch yourself, but I'm touching different chakra points in your body to dissipate and dissolve all of the crummy badness that might have happened there in those different pressure points. remove them with energy healing, meaning just the touch to take them away. It doesn't hurt. And then when you come back, it has all of this room for goodness to fill up in your life. So you see much more magical things happen. A great example is someone who wants to be a lot less anxious would be taking away that anxiety from grieving. It would be deal with grief if they've lost someone. All of those things can manifest itself as anger, anxiety, grief, panic, all of these things that we see today. So that's a little bit about energy healing, and we'll be talking a little bit more about it in weeks to come, to where you could do it self-healing at home. Really? That would be just incredible. So we just did it. This right here is energy healing and grounding ourselves with energy healing. So energy healing is fun. You can do it really easily, and it can help you relax.
You know, I'm not aware, but I have heard much about it. What is Reiki?
Reiki is also a form of touch modality. Okay. I'm integrated energy therapy. It's called IET. That's what I do. But Reiki is also something that is, Reiki is thousands of years old. It's a thousands of years old, a touch modality that does exactly and very much the same thing. Using the chakra points in your body to remove all of the negativity. And then also, I'm not sure if they imprint, so I don't want to speak on that, but I'm not sure if they put in something good, but I know Reiki is good for taking all of the crummy stuff out.
Yeah, I've had a couple clients.
Really technical terms there, crummy stuff.
And you're right, because you can manifest it in your body and hold it in like those places you had described where different emotions and thoughts and feelings get stuck. For sure.
They keep weight on you too. You know, that's the reason why I've lost all this weight. Lost 30 pounds so far from just doing IET on my, and anybody who's actually seen this room, seen me, even Navah says, you look so much smaller. Whatever. So what I did was make it okay to serve myself and to heal myself, but figure out why I had the weight on. You know, what am I protecting myself from? What abuse, what trauma have I suffered that I felt like I needed to be strong for to ward off in my daily life when I'm actually safe?
Well, also the other thing with that too is like, what is our identity? How do we identify ourselves? We might have seen a body and imagine that that's us, and it's really hard to see that change. So that first visualization of making sure that we can see ourselves in a different way. But I do notice sometimes with clients, they identify what is wrapped up in their identity. It's just like what you just said, you know, and for what reason do you feel like you need to be in this body form? And then can you imagine yourself shifting?
And this is the great thing about this show. You have a therapist and a healer, and you have a caregiver. Navah will be back. She's going to be around. She's going to give us some questions and everything. And then we're going to play off of these ideas of how we can make it make sense for people both ways, therapy and holistically. I mean, we're just going to mesh it all together and give you a bunch of tools that you can use to heal yourself as self-care for the caregiver.
So I'm just wondering, my producer, Matt, if we, how much time we have and if we need to run the closing commercial too.
2 minutes.
2 minutes.
Well, before we get to the end of the show, I just want to say thank you for having me here as a fill-in. It's been totally fun. Navah. Wow. Okay. She does this every Tuesday. I'm ready whenever you guys are ready to invite me back. Please don't forget to watch this show on Tuesdays for more tips for self-care for the caregivers that we want to give you when we work out. So I just wanted to say, come back to the show.
Yes, absolutely.
Stay here.
And I just noticed Shelby Landucci. Oh, Matt, where did it go? Oh, there it is.
Shelby.
She is our operations manager here, and I hope I'm getting the title right. And a caregiver. Oh, that's right.
Shout out.
So, and what she wrote in is that sometimes self-care can be just sitting in your car outside of your house or in a parking lot with no kids. Absolutely. Sometimes if you're listening to a great song on the radio and you just want to finish that song before you turn the engine off and go in the house and face whatever it is you need to face. Great example.
Exactly. Not only is that a great example, but I just want to congratulate her on even thinking about these things, because that's exactly what we want here. We don't want to make it hard where it makes it seem like people can't take care of themselves or that you can only take a bubble bath.
Something as simple as that is just sitting in your car and
just as simple as that.
Quiet
And today you should probably play a Van Halen song because he always wanted us to rock out. Okay.
Yep. Thanks.
Go ahead and jump.
Thanks. Oh.
Let's end it. Go ahead and jump. Just do it.
Or my favorite song was Right Now. Right Now is all about the here and now, and just that was such a beautiful video. And
I feel like swinging across the stage.
Yeah, there you go.
I do.
All right. Well, thanks, Eddie, for all the music, and we look forward to seeing y'all next week.
Bye.
Bye.
One of the things I'm most proud of is our mental health department, where we provide low-cost counseling to special needs individuals and their families. During times like this is something that everyone can use.